Hello and welcome to Scott's Kitchen. It's kind of a cold, gray, dreary day here in Southern California. Nice, good day for a sweatshirt or something like that. February, so that's kind of understandable. But it's not just any old day. Today is February 14th, as we know, is Valentine's Day. And so I'm going to cook Lily a special dinner. I cooked this recipe a while back and she really liked it. So I asked what she wanted for me to cook, and she said for me to cook this again. This is from the Costco magazine. They have a lot of recipes in the Costco magazine. And this is skillet chicken with sun-dried tomato sauce. You could probably look that up online, or I'll put a photo of it here. But it's basically like a chicken in a skillet and with a cream sauce and a little bit of wine and some seasoning, and that's it. So rather than just eat it with the chicken and the cream sauce, Lily said that she wanted some pasta. So I think what we're going to do is start with cooking some pasta, and then we can mix it up and that will get all saucy and you can eat it with the chicken. Normally, I make her chicken cacciatore, which is her favorite dish. But I think this dish has actually eclipsed chicken cacciatore as being her favorite dish. And let's make it and see how it goes. We're starting today just heating up a pot of water. And this is the pasta we're going to use. Again, another Costco item. And it's kind of a curly Q. We're going to use about half the bag. And what I like to do is, rather than just salt the pasta water, is I use some Lowry seasoned salt. And I don't know if anybody else does that too much. I think I may be one of the few people that does that, but it really adds a really good flavor. Like when I make French fries, I also use Lowry seasoned salt rather than just regular salt. And anyway, it's a big hit so far with the folks around here. So we'll just let that stir that occasionally and let that come to a boil, and then we'll add our pasta. So this recipe calls for 2 pounds of chicken, but I didn't really want to make that much. And this is perfect because it's 1.7 pounds, so that's going to be just about right. And it also calls for just putting the chicken pieces in, whatever, thighs or legs or wings, whatever you want, into the pan and cooking in that way. To make it easier to eat, I'm going to chop them up into little pieces and do it that way. Okay, so what I'm going to do is this has been out of the freezer for about a day, but it's still a little bit hard. So that's kind of good because it actually makes it easier to cut. So I'm just going to cut it in kind of bite-sized pieces and put it in the pan. Before I do that, I'm going to put a little bit of butter in the pan. That's what the recipe calls for. And then some salt and pepper. And I'll just chunk this up. Now's a good time to talk about cleanliness in the kitchen. When you're cutting up or dealing with raw chicken, it's always good to make sure you try to contain everything. And we're really going to wash this well. Once I'm done with that and I put it in the pan, we're going to wash hands, of course, knife, cutting board, and everything, and make sure that everything is real clean. Okay, so I'm just going to continue to cut up all 5 of these, and we'll put them in the pan and get them cooked. Water is boiling for the pasta. Let's just pour about half this in. What I do to do half is I just sort of put my fingers back here. It's like a half, and then something like that. That looks like about half to me. And then you can use this really cool little sticker sealer that I like with this pasta, and seal it and put it in the pantry for next time. Make sure you stir this right away because it can stick to the bottom, and then just have it bringing to a boil. Alright, so we've got the butter in here. Let's check the recipe. It said melt 2 tablespoons of butter in a large nonstick skillet over medium heat. Yep, that's about 2. And then brown the chicken. So it seems like a heck of a lot of chicken. And it's not even 2 pounds. But I don't know. Maybe it'll cook down, I don't know. Jeez. So I'm going to be real careful with this knife and cutting board, putting it aside because that needs to be washed. And then we're going to add some salt and pepper to this. And not too much salt, but then a lot more pepper. I really should change my ratio in my together thing here to be like 2/3 pepper, 1/3 salt. I think maybe I'll do that. So this is starting to cook really nicely. And I took a piece of the pasta out of the water, because the only real way that I can tell if pasta is done is by tasting it. So I am going to taste a piece. Hey, that's done. Okay. I'm going to turn that off. And let's get our pasta out. Now that didn't take as long as I thought. So I'm going to take all the pasta out of here. And then I'm going to let the water cool a little bit before I pour it down the drain. And then I'm going to use this pot as my serving. I'm going to mix everything, the chicken and the sauce and everything, back into this pot when it's all done. And I don't mind getting a little bit of the water in there, because that water's good. Let's dice up some of these sun-dried tomatoes. I think I'm going to do about that much. I know that sounds like a lot, but I think that's what I'm going to do. So these were legs, so it's kind of fatty, and it produced a lot of fat. This chicken is cooked, but one of the easy ways that I like to do it, rather than draining it, is you can just get yourself a paper towel, and the paper towel will kind of soak up a lot of that fat. You don't want to include that with your recipe, because that's going to be not good for you. And then you can do is just kind of put it here and then get another one until all of that fat is gone. And you can kind of lean it and see how much fat there is. So we'll just make sure that we get all that fat out of there. Then I'm going to brown up these chicken pieces now that I've got the fat out of there. Just put up the fire kind of high, and let's just get a little bit of brown color to them. That's going to add some nice visual appeal and also a little bit of flavor too. So we take the chicken out of the pan. We're just melting a little bit more butter in here. And we're going to add about 3 cloves of garlic. Valentine's Day. Nothing says Valentine's Day like garlic. At least we're both eating it. Oh, that's the... Okay, so we're just gonna kind of get that butter stirred around there with some Italian seasoning. This is kind of the base for our sauce. So it's gonna be kind of a lot. Fresh red pepper. And we'll stir that around a little bit. Oh, and see that fond is coming off the bottom of the pan? That's what you want. That's going to be delicious base for a sauce. Kind of scrape the outside. Ooh, and look, the garlic and the crushed red pepper, they're all kind of getting dark. And we're going to add a half a cup of wine. There we go. Boy, we don't really have much left in there. It seems a waste just to leave a small bit in there, but that's what we're going to do. Stir that around a bit. Mixing. All right, 1 cup chicken broth. My little measuring cup here is one full is a cup. Right about there. Then we'll bring that to a boil. All right, we're getting there. I think that's good. So then 3/4 cup heavy cream. Add that right in there. Oh boy. Stirring. That is going to be our sauce. And let's add our tomatoes. This is what really makes it, in my opinion. That's what really makes it. That is going to be really, really good. Then we're going to add back in our chicken. And just let that chill there for a while. Not chill, but you know what I mean. Let that kind of cook down. And the chicken's going to get really soft and absorb all that flavor. And once it cooks down and thickens a bit, we're going to pour all of this into the pasta. And we will be ready. We'll add a little bit of basil. A little bit of basil. And we should be good to go. We're just going to let that simmer there, thicken, and get delicious. And then after maybe about an hour, we're going to add that to the pasta, and we should be ready to eat.